Welcome once again, our contestants enter the arena. So we had a flawless pilot episode of this game show that I'm doing in which the wrong person was credited as being the winner. So let me welcome back the two returning champions, Chris and Mike, here to compete. Tori, this is your chance to redeem yourself. You were given the This is like the whole Moonlight La La Land thing that happened here. You know, you got that award, but then someone came out on stage and was like, I won that one, it's the wrong one. So, coming back...
Needless to say, I have an axe to grind tonight, so we'll see.
You're going to get your chance to grind that axe. So, in the last segment of this, we did... Where's my little sheet? We did... superhero battle, ignore that, superhero battle trivia.
Later.
Trying to guess hypothetical outcomes of goofy matchups. Some were the actual schoolyard debates. Other ones were totally not serious ones. This time we're moving into the realm of movies. Your assignment today is to figure out which of the two choices I'm giving you has the higher user score. And what you're debating between Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, the ultimate SmackDown.
What?
I will
So I
explain.
assume this is an average over the franchise?
Well, let me get the rules out, you eager beaver. So specifically, we're looking at the original Jackson trilogy. We're looking at the kind of almost Jackson trilogy of Hobbit films. There's your Lord of the Rings movies. Then we're looking at the original Star Wars movies, the original three, the original trilogy, and then the sequel trilogy, the Skywalker saga, whatever the name for that is called. The bad ones, you could say. So those are the two trilogies that are going up against each other one at a time. So it's going to move kind of chronologically. So, round one, for example, is going to be Fellowship versus New Hope, and then so on and so on and so on. So you'll have to figure out which of these matchups has the higher user scores. The user scores are taken from Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, and Metacritic for each movie, added them together, created the average for each one to compile the average score. Now, Rotten Tomatoes does a percentage out of 100, so I just converted those to a 10. So if it was a 9.5, or a 95, it's a 9.5, and that's how I did it. That way we're getting a variety of sources, pretty good overall idea of what the pulse is on people's opinions of these movies. And you got to figure out which one's which. So there are 7 rounds total, and whoever gets the highest score wins. We're going to start it off with the chance for a bonus point, though. This bonus point is not going to create a streak, because the streak system is back. If you get multiple answers in a row, you get a bonus point. I think the total limit, the highest possible score you can get in this one, I want to say is 14. That's your highest possible score. Last time, I think it was 18 or 19. So less rounds this time means less overall points, but you got that bonus point, so that could make or break the whole thing. So, we're going to move to the game show floor, and like I said, there's going to be a small delay, so feel free to kind of do an early debate on how you think things are going to go, what movies you think are going to win, and I'll see you in a few minutes.
Well, it's going to be really hard. Yeah, it's going to be really hard for me when Return of the Jedi comes up against anything, because I love that movie, and I know...
So Return of the Jedi is going to be going against Return of the King.
Yeah. So
and that is gonna be rough. That is gonna be rough.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh no.
I think Empire's better than.
Oh well, I agree.
But
I know. I think that's an easy one.
Yeah.
For
Fellowship
sure.
versus A New Hope.
The thing is, though, is I don't think Mike is gonna throw these at us, and I don't think they're gonna be softballs every time.
Yeah.
So I think there's gonna be some curveballs in here that we don't see coming. I know it. I don't know what they're gonna be, but we know we're gonna see them.
I am genuinely afraid of what the game show floor. Oh God. Oh God! The
Welcome
game
back.
show floor. Oh no! he
Welcome
podcasted
to
it.
Retro Boost Arena, boys, where destinies are decided.
What a clip on.
Destinies are decided. No, that's a whole tie.
It's
That's
not a
real
clip-on.
tie.
It's a real
You need to
tie. I
tighten
did it
that
myself,
tie there,
Dad.
young man.
Good job.
I did it
I'm proud of you,
myself.
son.
I did it myself. I'm a big boy. This is kind of the best I could do with 5 seconds of prep time.
Fair.
This is actually the original jacket that I used to wear when the channel first started, and it does not fit. I am fatter now. Okay. So
Yeah, no, that. No.
I couldn't hear anything you were saying. Just like my wife when she talks to me, I'm just kind of tuning her out. This is the jokes that guy told, right? He just hated his wife, I think, and his comedy was a vehicle to express those opinions. Rodney Dangerfield. Anyway, so I have no idea what you guys were talking about. I didn't hear anything. I hope it was great. Here's your chance for the bonus point. Simple question. Out of the movies I listed for you, the Peter Jackson trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy, summed up, averaged out, user scores as I described them, and then Star Wars, original trilogy, sequel trilogy, summed up, averaged out, which do you think overall has the higher user scores? That'll be your first shot in the dark. I'm not going to tell you what they are after you guess them, but I will tell you if you're correct or not.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Mike's-
same.
Yeah, I want to say Lord of the Rings because Attack of the Clones is going to tank whatever.
That's not in this one.
No,
Wait, what?
This
Sequel
is the
trilogy.
Sequels.
Sequel trilogy. So that's
So
Force
you're talking
Awakens,
about,
Last
4, 5, and
Jedi.
6.
That's the original.
I see what you're saying. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Only 3 good movies in each
Yikes! Not wrong, but yikes.
You have the original Star Wars
franchise.
movies, and then the newest 3 Star Wars movies. Those are your 6.
I have friends who legitimately stand by the Hobbit movies, and it's tough to still call them friends. It's a challenge that we're working through.
It's tough to call them friends.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Lord of the Rings too.
Ah, damn it! One of my hotkeys is fighting us here. I gotta reprogram that. All right, so everyone. There we go. So everyone voted Lord of the Rings. Okay, so you're saying out of these 6 movies per each side, Lord of the Rings comes out on top. Let's see if they're correct. Survey says you are correct.
Yes.
Lord of the Rings.
I can't see. Your
is
video
the
cut out
higher.
on my end.
Try to refresh it or double tap it again or
Working
something.
on it.
You were correct. Lord of the Rings is the higher of the 2, which means everyone gets a
Everybody
bonus
gets a
starting point. So 1 point is on the board for everyone. That's great.
Cool.
Good job.
And you're back.
So now, let's officially begin. Now you know which one has the overall high average. So you're trying to figure out which of the Star Wars
but
films
Let's
actually
be
win.
real. The first trilogies of either one are doing the hardest carries.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. 100%.
You may think that. Maybe you're right. Maybe
No,
you'll
I
be
know.
surprised.
I know there's going to be some surprises because user score versus critic score. I won't. I haven't looked into this, but I have some meta theories that'll be challenging to see if we get through.
Round 1, I'm going Fellowship. All
I think so as well.
I love that movie. I watched it a
I
couple
think
weeks ago.
Star Wars has had more like cultural impact, but Fellowship's just a better movie. So I think if that's what people are voting for,
I think
Fellowship.
this is going to set the tone. I think this is going to set the tone for me. It's like my meta game for this going forward. And I'll explain the theory one way or the other after we get the result.
So what's your vote then, Chris?
Fellowship.
Okay, so everyone's voting for Fellowship. Okay. Are we sure? No one wants to change their opinion? No, we're thinking
No.
Fellowship. We're thinking Fellowship. Is it gonna be Fellowship? What does the survey say?
Hey, we're all
Fellowship
winners.
with 9.23 user score average compared to New Hope's 9.03 average.
Wow.
Yep.
Very close indeed. And I think that's pretty. Yeah, I'd agree with that overall. I think that if, like, I had to throw one of these movies off a cliff, it'd probably be Star Wars versus Fellowship, but it'd be a sad toss. I think that.
Yeah.
Hot take, maybe. I don't know. The original Star Wars is the best Star Wars. Not sure.
That one is the best Star Wars? Like a New Hope is...
No. First trilogy.
Oh, 100. That's not a hot take at all.
I think that's where he's getting.
Yeah, that's not a hot take at all. I 100% agree with that.
It's a pretty reasonable take.
Yeah, 100% agree.
I think overall
4, 5,
the
and
best
6
one is Rogue One. I think is the best personally. But out of the original trilogy, out of the original 6, I would say that New Hope's the best.
Rogue One is definitely the best Disney Star Wars. I'll give it that easily.
That's true. By default, it wins that one.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And it's probably my favorite Star Wars movie since Return of the Jedi, maybe.
Oh, this is a curb stomp.
Yeah, this is Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
The best Star Wars movie.
Agreed.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's not my favorite Star Wars movie, but it's the best Star Wars movie.
It's both.
I would agree. I think it's both for me. Yeah.
Oh wow! So are
And
you?
Yeah.
So between Two Towers and Empire Strikes Back,
It's
everyone's
Empire.
thinking Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Very interesting indeed. Very interesting indeed. I'm stalling for time as I press buttons. Hold on. Very interesting indeed. Very
Don't hit the
interesting
wrong
indeed.
Or do.
I gotta do these slower because it makes
it
like,
could
the
be fun.
encoding go bad. So, Tori's saying Empire. Yeah, and then
Hey,
Empire. Empire.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think that means we all go to... Oh, no, it doesn't mean we go to 3. Never mind. Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah, it
Wait,
does.
we're on.
Yeah,
we
you're
go
right.
to 4 now because
We
this
go to
is
4.
a streak.
That's your hot streak.
All right.
I'm curious as to the disparity.
And
This is going
what
to be a
is
bloodbath.
our disparity?
I think it is. Oh wow!
Look at that. Oh, my goodness.
No, it's not a bloodbath. My
Not
theory
really.
sucked.
That one's also pretty close.
Are we talking about the extended version of Two Towers? Because it's way better.
I would
This
say that
has me
that's the
worried for
case
Return
for
of the
all of
Jedi.
them. I never looked. I don't think that any of these services distinguish between those.
Wow. I think this speaks to what both of these movies do bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, I just think Empire Strikes Back, it does something that movies just don't do anymore. The good guys lose, and you just never see that anymore. And I think that that's the thing that really makes Empire kind of stand the test of time, is the structure of that film is just unlike anything that we see today, and it's a concept that is just so rare to see in the industry.
Yeah, I would say it's rare. It's I can only have one offhand that I can think of, but it definitely still exists, but it is very rare.
Mm-hmm.
Does it count if the audience loses? Because get in line, Rise of Skywalker. There we go.
Oh god.
Oh no, this is gonna be so bad.
Still haven't seen that movie, and I refuse to.
It's really funny that you haven't actually. All right, moving in around 3. Everyone on a streak. All right, Return of the King or Return of the Jedi. There can only be one. What are we thinking?
It's the King.
Mm-hmm.
Burger King, have it your way.
I'm gonna say Return of the King as well, even though it hurts my heart because I love Return of the Jedi so much.
Yeah, I guess I have to say Return of the King because it won an Oscar.
Well, I mean, in fairness, were there?
I would rather watch.
When did the Oscars start? When did the Oscars start? Was that an option for Return of the Jedi?
Oh yeah,
Academy
the
Awards
Oscars have been around forever.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I have only recently started paying attention to things like that.
Oh yeah, they've been around for a long time.
Okay.
I'll never pay attention to things like that.
Yeah,
I think
all
they're
rigged
at
and
this
all.
point. I think they're interesting, but yeah.
I would rather watch Return of the Jedi, but I don't know. Return of the King is kind of like more like a film, like a more prestigious kind of movie.
I get what you're saying. I personally, for me, it's just I am more of a Lord of the Rings nerd than a Star Wars nerd. There's something about high fantasy versus space western. Both are great. Love both of them. Give me more of them all the time, please. But I will always default to high fantasy over sci-fi.
See, I'm actually the other way around. I'm nowhere near as big of a Lord of the Rings fan as I am a Star Wars fan. It's kind of funny for me. I played D&D for years and years and years before I ever saw anything Lord of the Rings. So I had that like very annoying cultural. This pulls so much stuff from D&D, and everybody just like glared at me in the room, you know. So it's for me. I think I saw Fellowship. Fellowship was like the first Lord of the Rings thing that I ever saw. I didn't even really. It just wasn't really in my like.
It's a great introduction.
That's the first Lord of the. I've never read the books or anything. I was never into Lord of the Rings growing up. I was into Star Wars, but like, I really like Fellowship a lot. I think that's a really good movie, just a standalone movie on its own. But all those movies have some really cool stuff in them, like the Ents in Two Towers. Like Two Towers has like my favorite scene from Lord of the Rings, which is when Gandalf comes to kind of like rescue them at the Battle of Helm's Deep or whatever. Yeah, and he's riding down that hill, and it looks like it looks like some kind of like classical painting that you'd see in an art museum, but it's like it's just really cool looking. It's one of my favorite scenes in the whole trilogy.
I 100% agree.
Return of the King, no. Return of the King is not my favorite. I don't know. It was probably the one I would least like to watch in general. Overall.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think we'll all go on Return of the King.
Controversial hot takes. Return of the King is a piece of garbage, says Mike, quoted and on the box.
Well, I wouldn't quite go that far, but you know.
He would definitely go that far. Wow, that's insane.
It's kind of like Return of the Jedi as a Star Wars. It kind of amps up some of the corny stuff a little bit. Like, you know, like in Two Towers, Legolas like surfs down the stairs or whatever. But in then Return of the King,
we don't talk about that part.
Surfs down like a whole like elephant thing or whatever. It's just like taking that concept and making it.
There's
like
two really great Wilhelms actually in both of those movies.
Yeah.
There's the elf, because the Wilhelms are what distracts me the most in any movie. But there's an Oliphant Wilhelm in Return of the King. One of the
is
pretty much the worst soldier on the battlefield, because even Wilhelm notwithstanding, he like suicide jumps toward Legolas just clear with no plan, and misses. And it's
he's like,
horrible.
Well, I guess this is the end.
And as the final indignation, they give him the Wilhelm scream.
Imagine willfully doing the Wilhelm scream.
There's a horror movie that used one as well.
Yeah.
The horror movie Amusement uses a Wilhelm scream for a character dying in the distance, which is like good stuff.
That's a choice. That's
a choice. It's the wrong one too.
I think there's a video on YouTube that has a bunch of scenes with Wilhelm screams.
Yes.
I kind of wish I really wanted to have like a Wilhelm scream button, but if you didn't know this, Wilhelm scream is not in the public domain.
Nope, it is not.
Really?
No, it's not. I forget who owns it. I think it's Warner Bros. But one of the major studios still owns it somehow.
It would be.
I'm pretty sure it is. All right, so is everyone saying Return of the King? No one's saying Return of the Jedi?
Yeah. No.
You got a problem with Star Wars here?
Yes.
Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie.
time.
And you're not voting it, though.
We voted for Star Wars last time.
We clearly have love for Star Wars. Come on.
I have
all right.
Star Wars. Still voting Return of the King.
They are. The Empire strikes back, but they did not want the Jedi to return. Are they correct?
I got a circle. Yeah. So now we're up to 6.
Yep. Your streaks are unbroken.
We're doing math this time, gentlemen.
Yeah, I got it on lockdown this time.
All right, somebody's got to get one wrong eventually here.
We got to start to take some risks.
Never.
This one was also
Wow,
fairly
that's the
close,
biggest
but
gap.
this is the first Star Wars that dipped below a 9.
Yeah.
So 8.7.
This is the biggest gap.
I would say
between
deservedly so. Although
really, you would say that Return of the King is that much better than Return of the Jedi than Fellowship was of New Hope, if you're tracking. So it's like a 7-ish% increase. Yeah, that was right. Yeah, well, I'll see what I'm about. So it was like a 7% increase.
So here's my like real quick hot takes on the OG trilogy of Star Wars. I'm like not that big of a fan at all of Empire. Its pacing like just drives me up the wall. Luke goes to train for like 15 minutes and then or he doesn't, and they're on the run from the Empire in the asteroid field for like weeks. I don't know. I don't get it. It makes me angry. But I love the film's climax. I love its opening. It's all good stuff. Kissing sisters probably isn't okay. That's an interesting decision to make
He didn't
creatively.
know that. He found that out afterwards.
Yeah, but like, so the thing is, the author knew.
Well, there's
so the author.
And that's the weird part. That's the weird part that I get hung up on is old Georgie boy knew that, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna give him.
They're like
Expected incest.
They're like, please don't, George. That's kind of an interesting, weird thing to do. And he's like, nah.
It's kind of a weird thing you got going there.
You would think the Force would be like, no, guys, like.
No, oh no, there's a lot of implications there that
Force would be.
I don't want to think
Force
about.
Is kind of like, let's see what.
Oh no.
That said, no. I definitely love the opening. It's classic. I also just like really enjoy the completely insane toxic work environment that Vader is like perpetuating that they have. Like he murders 2 officers across that movie, 2 captains or whatever it is. Pretty good stuff.
They don't believe in the Force. That's their fault.
There's a pretty cool moment that I think is kind of ahead of its time, actually, when they come into the dining room and Vader stops the blaster bolts with his hand, like with the Force, basically. I thought that was pretty incredible, and that's something that the franchise would never really do again until Force Awakens, having Kylo like stop a blaster around in the air. So there's things I like about it, but I just like can never get my head around how that movie's time is supposed to be progressing. It's just so weird that like Luke spends what can't be more than a few hours with Yoda and then runs away. It's just like, the whole thing was weird to me.
Lord of the Rings is king of that though. Like it's impossible to tell how much time's gone by in those movies. Like it could be like years in between scenes, and it feels like it was like 15 minutes ago.
Oh sure. Well, actually, so there are multiple moments where they do tell you. So they straight up tell you how long it took for them to get through Moria. It was like 3 days. And then the final narration of Return of the King, Frodo says that the whole thing took like a year and some change. So at least they tell you here and there. Like they give it to you eventually is my point. But true, like, you're right though. As it proceeds, you have no way of knowing that.
Yeah.
The difference is...
And neither...
There's like I think the key difference is Luke is going through some kind of like training montage scenario while the Millennium Falcon is being like chased through the asteroids in seemingly real time. So it's like the 2 of those to me in my mind are like not compatible events to be showing chronologically at the same time.
That's fair. And neither story is helped by the fact that they are simultaneously tracking several groups across differing spans of time.
Yeah. You know what would have fixed it, honestly?
Neither has helped. I think it really is only the posthumous fact that you get narration saying it took X amount of time. I think is the only thing that really gives an edge, however minor it is, to Lord of the Rings, but very minor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going back to Star Wars, like I can never talk about episode 5 and 6 without bringing up like the symbology of the Empire Strikes Back Vader fight, where Vader uses his saber in one hand virtually the entire fight, and then in Return of the Jedi he uses it in two hands almost the entire fight. And I think that tells you everything you need to know about what Vader thinks of Luke at that time and the growth that took place from 5 to 6. And that's the climax to Return of the Jedi, to me, is like top tier. As far as like if you watch 1 through 6 and you get all the way to 6, like that is what you think you're gonna see. And the color between the red sword and the green sword, it's just so great to me. And that's really what I like the most about Return of the Jedi, is the character Luke in that film versus what he experienced in Strikes Back. And I just think that the character of Luke is just masterfully done from episode 4 to 6. And then, of course, he's been butchered, on. But I always have to bring that up because that was one of the things when I was a kid I just loved, because Vader, you could just tell he wasn't taking Luke seriously in 5, like at all. And in 6, that was not the case. He knew that he was up against a full-fledged Jedi, and he had to show up.
I'll come around to 6. Yeah. It has, if you watch the special edition, it has Nice Noodles, who sings the titular.
Nice what?
Snice Noodles. She sings the Jedi song. The Jedi Rocks is the name of the song.
That doesn't exist.
Yes, it does.
In the movie
That's the new canon. Says me right now.
The special editions suck.
The Star Wars hotel would have been successful if Snice Noodles was the headliner.
I don't like this
original trilogy.
I think that they're all good movies, though. I mean, all my complaints about them are ultimately nitpicks. Like, they do not affect me from enjoying them as I sit and watch them, with one exception. And I don't want to hang up on this because I've made this joke and said it 1,000 times. But I think that Episode 3 kind of retroactively, proactively, whatever the term would be, kind of takes away some from Return of the Jedi for me, because I have the knowledge that he murdered tons of children in a Jedi temple. And I don't think that you should be able to redeem yourself from that by murdering an old man. I don't see that those are two things that
like
work.
your boss, the one who encouraged the evil.
It's a real simple decision, George Lucas. Just don't have him kill the kids on screen. You can say it, you can allude to it off screen, like, oh my god, he's so evil, even the kids died. Then you can just imagine, was it the stormtroopers? Was it him? I don't know, keep it vague. You don't have to, literally show him drawing a sword on a kid in the room, and then doubling down on that in the Obi-Wan show and having him stab one of the kids on screen.
Yeah.
It's interesting that Rogue One decided to plug a plot hole, whereas Obi-Wan decided to double down on the child murdering.
How can I make this worse?
Yeah, but, that's the thing that's funny, is most of the stuff that people hate about Star Wars is what George Lucas did to it anyway. So,
Sure. He
already kind of ruined it before Disney, and then all the stuff people hate about the Disney ones, like Luke being a hermit, is his. That's they kept that from his treatment. That was one of the things he kept. So it's if you hate that.
Yeah, I don't know about that green face cow milk, though.
I don't want that.
Well, it's
I don't want that at all. You can do without that part, sure.
We're getting to that. So here we go.
Bad.
So now we're gonna move into those movies.
Oh no!
So now we're moving into Hobbit trilogy and the sequel Star Wars movies, and we're starting off with Unexpected Journey versus The Force Awakens. Only thing that awoke me was my. I actually kind of like that. I like that movie. It's actually I actually like it.
Yeah.
I think I don't think this is a hot take, but maybe a hot take. I don't know. The Millennium Falcon chase scene where they reactivate the ship and they stumble to get it going, and that whole sequence ensues, I think is one of the greatest action set pieces in the entire franchise.
I would agree.
I think Force Awakens.
I just bypassed the compressor. No, that's all garbage. All trash. Every bit of it. I might be voting for it in this scenario, but then
you can't say every bit of it. Come on. There's some good stuff in it.
There is some
I
good stuff.
think
There's some good stuff.
that movie gets the deserved flack for being a carbon copy of A New Hope.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I also think that the Star Wars community is so fickle that if it wasn't a carbon copy of A New Hope, people would have hated it on principle.
I
it's
would completely agree.
It's kind of like
and so for me, I look at it without that thought. I try to look at it without that thought. Obviously, it is in a lot of ways a carbon copy.
It's
but
like J.J. Abrams.
I don't need a
you know?
Star Wars movie. Yeah, I don't need a Star Wars movie to stand on its own, like and be a new next level of cinema kind of thing. I don't think that's what Star Wars is. I don't think it. Star Wars isn't self-aware enough to need to do that.
You just don't get it, dude. J.J. Abrams is an auteur. No one can use as many lens flares as that man can. Okay, you just don't get it. You just don't get it.
This scene in the thumbnail where Kylo Ren stops that bolt is one of the coolest things that Star Wars has ever done.
It's true. It's
I
very.
need to go back and watch it.
It really
I haven't
is.
seen it since I saw it in theaters.
Dude, watch it again. It's good. It's good. I would say it's a good movie.
Is, in my opinion, is probably one of the perfect popcorn flicks.
Yeah.
It's even got the guy, the random stormtrooper that yells like "traitor" or whatever, and he's got like that like baton thing. Like it's got some pretty fun Star Wars moments in it.
Yeah.
Now, is it flawed?
I think
oh my god,
it is
absolutely. But it's a good
Star
time.
Wars. And The Hobbit, episode 1,
The Phantom Hobbit.
is the Hobbit Menace. The Hobbit Menace.
Hobbit Menace.
That's
The
actually
Hobbit
Bilbo.
Menace.
That's actually Bilbo's The Hobbit Menace. So, oh no.
I will say this about The Hobbit. When I saw that in theaters, and it has like a 50-minute long opening thing, and then when it actually starts, the real movie begins, which is in the second movie, in the first movie. When that second movie begins, and it's the real movie, and their dialogue is like pretty much just verbatim from the book, I had like a smile on my face, like ear to ear.
Yeah.
And I really wish the whole movie was like that. It would have been really cool if it was, but it stopped.
Yeah.
But that first moment, I was like,
it's very much not. It is.
I was
very much
in
not.
for it. I was in for a good time, and then it's like kind of an okay time. There's things about it that I like.
I made the mistake of going to see that in the high frame rate format.
Oh, the 48.
Oh no!
No,
listen,
I was just curious about
motion
it.
rate, motion accelerator. You turn that
Well,
off, and then you talk.
They
Then you talk to us.
they filmed
But
all
they made such a
filmed
big deal
all of
about
them in 48.
Yeah,
They made such a big deal about making it like that I wanted to see it how he thought it
Right.
should be seen or whatever, and I fucking
and
hate
it looked bad. It looked bad.
Watch your mouth.
That's just one. All right, that's one.
That you know of.
It actually made people sick too. People were made ill.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
they
did
so.
not know that.
I don't know, man. Just do 30 is what I keep saying. Like, I don't think that it's
Right,
that big of a
just stick
deal.
to 30, dog. It'll be okay.
24.
It'll be all right.
24.
Oh,
Relax.
it's 24.
Movies are 24.
Mr. Auteur.
Yeah, Mister.
Movies
You
are
don't
24.
get it, Dad.
I know.
It's
I'm
gotta
just
be
messing with you.
24.
I'm just messing with you. 23.98.
So
Oh, Jesus.
where are
I
our votes
hate
here?
everything.
What are we
The
voting
Force
on?
Awakens.
Force
Oh.
Awakens.
Yeah, it's Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
Yes, Force Awakens.
Actually, oh no. Well, yeah, it's Force Awakens.
Your answers are locked in.
Force Awakens.
Okay.
What are you thinking, Tori?
I think what that film is going to benefit from is the fact that it's the first one. I think there's probably no way that 8 and 9 are better from a rating score, but I think that this one will benefit from the fact that it's the first one.
Okay, so you're voting Force Awakens as well?
Yes.
Wow. All right. A clean. You guys are like allies on every single one of these. No,
Unexpected allies.
no one has deferred choices. Okay. Unexpected Journey or the unexpected new movie that he wrote it in a room isolated from society. I think that was the thing. Survey says
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, that's massive.
Wow.
Okay, so this actually helps prove my theory. My theory is that these movies, these two trilogies, came out at a time where user scores became a common thing.
Oh?
And so, yeah, and with the first two, it was only people who would be willing, like with the first Star Wars and first Lord of the Rings trilogy, it would only be people for Star Wars who were young enough or modern enough and to know what to do about an online forum like Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb or anything like that. And more people in that time cared about, like when that became more of a thing, cared about Lord of the Rings than they did Star Wars. And so it was only the people who would give it like the non quintessential action movie kind of, oh, Star Wars is everything kind of fans. Those guys weren't doing it. It was the nerds like us who were around when that thing, when this thing came around and became a thing that people do. And I just think there were more people that were going to be doing Lord of the Rings, like the first trilogy, than the original Star Wars. But this is a more even comparison with The Hobbit and then the sequels. And I think, yeah, I have a theory about where this is going to go. Yeah, and I won't spoil that because that might give me an edge.
I think the reviews are skewed by all the people that complain about Disney, Star Wars, and like Kathleen Kennedy and all that kind of stuff. Because if you read any discussions on any of the sequel movies online on any forum or Reddit or anything, it always devolves into that. So it's like.
But are those people also going to go make accounts on movie review websites?
I mean, people have been doing that. I mean, like IMDb has been around forever, you know, like.
That's why I pulled from multiple sources to attempt to avoid that kind of thing.
Yeah. But all those sites. I mean, Star Wars: Force Awakens came out in like what 2016, like
15.
Yeah.
All those.
I figure there's got to be a disconnect between people who are willing to chat about it in an online discourse and then people who think their opinions are worth reading.
Yeah, but I mean, we used to have
like on a critical level.
I mean, movie discussion forums and stuff been around forever, though. Like, it's not really.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I was just saying there's a difference between the people who will go and discuss movies that way and people who will post a score, like a user score and review on like Rotten Tomatoes. There's like two different types of conversations happening. One is like on the movie forum, it's like what we're doing, where we're having these conversations, quantifying things about our unique experiences rather than just, boom, here's a hit list of why I liked A, B, and C about this movie and didn't like that kind of thing. And bam, here's your review score. I feel like those are two different people.
I got you. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Everything that guy just said was wrong. Moving on.
Fair.
All right.
Fair.
Now things are going to get sad. So, the desolation of Smaug and The Last Jedi.
Now things are gonna get sad.
I'm actually a Last Jedi defender for the most part, other than the casino.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Well, okay. Oh, all right.
I like.
At least you don't defend the casino.
No,
I like
hate
that.
part.
I like that
part
it's
sucks,
condition
but I like
based.
the overall movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie confuses me. Because like everything
the tone is all over the place. That's the problem I have.
The tone's everywhere. Everything that Finn and company do is ultimately pointless for the story. It doesn't accomplish or reveal anything that we didn't already know or move anything forward for them. The whole thing could just not be in the movie.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's pointless.
I think it was the first Star Wars that I've ever seen where I was just kind of like not okay with it. Like I can like sit down and like legitimately have a good time with the prequel trilogy. Like there's Attack of the Clones is kind of boring-ish in parts, but like I can definitely like, you know, smoke a bunch of pixie sticks and enjoy Phantom Menace. Like it's a good time.
Yeah.
Like it's so bad that it is good, like for me. Last Jedi, I don't care for that movie.
I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters, and I was disgusted as I left the theater. I don't know. I just in Return of the Jedi, why didn't we just light speed one of the Republic freighters into the Death Star? And there you go, done. Like, sacrifice one of those to destroy that thing. Sure, cool. Let's do it. Sign me up. I will pilot that thing. Why didn't we just do that if this was...
It was on the table.
They didn't think about it.
I really get frustrated. And I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant here, but I just get really frustrated when people who obviously don't care about the source material make things like this that don't create new stories, new scenarios, break rules that have been set for years. And The Last Jedi did that and just pretended like it doesn't damage all of the stuff that comes before it. And
it was season 8 all over again.
And I hate the way that they dealt with the character of Luke. I already kind of discussed in 5 and 6 how brilliant I think his arc is, and to see what Rian Johnson decided to do with the character in that film, all I wanted to see was Luke fight Kylo Ren. Like, just give me that. And they just couldn't do it. And instead he sacrificed himself as a Force ghost, which what?
What did that even accomplish? What did that do?
Nothing. That the whole movie didn't.
It put
you
him
can turn
into
the fire off because I'm done. But I'm cooling off now. I'm cooling off. Thank you.
It put him in the position that old Ben was in the first movie, and therefore you're retreading old stuff, and therefore it's good. That's what it did.
Yeah, sure. Blue alien milk.
Are you trying to say that
Rey.
there's nothing?
I like
hey,
Rey,
buddy.
I like Finn.
Hey, buddy. What's he gonna be eating out there? Huh? Corn flakes? No, there's alien milk to guzzle on. Sometimes he gets it right from the source. It's in deleted scenes. I told him just shoot it. We'll work around the cow.
Oh no.
I'm going for the Desolation of Smaug.
Same.
Ooh.
So I am as well.
You guys are lame.
But while I will acknowledge that The Last Jedi is a better movie than Desolation of Smaug, but I'm gonna go with, and that's a low bar. That's a low bar for me. The Last Jedi is by far and away the prettiest Star Wars
That may be
that's
true.
ever come out. Ever come out.
I think that
Do you
they
guys
put
wanna know
a
something.
Desolation of Smaug has the
I
higher
agree. I
score.
think it looks great.
I can tell you why. I guarantee you how the movie got made is that they're like Disney Imagineers or whatever were like, Salt Planet, that would look really cool, right? Oh, this island thing, that would, like a dark hole. Oh, ooh, if a ship goes warp speed into another ship and it's like white and black. It started there, and the story was written around those set pieces. Like, I guarantee you.
Absolutely.
So this is how bad I think The Last Jedi is.
I thought you gotta turn the fire back on.
I gotta turn you're gonna make me do it. He's at it again!
I haven't even seen The Desolation of Smaug, but it's getting my vote.
So, my 10-second review of Desolation of Smaug. Bad movie. Don't care for it. No, wrong.
Right.
Lot of nonsense. Even if some of the nonsense is from the book, at that point the welcome is worn off, and I don't even care anymore that things from the book are happening on screen. However, the Smaug scenes are pretty spectacular.
Yeah. Dude, Benadryl Thunderpants did a great job. That's
Yeah.
Smaug.
So if you watch the behind the scenes stuff, you'll realize like how post-processed to hell his voice really is. I mean, I guess you have to do that because he's not a human character,
It's
but
Dragon. Like,
watching him like do the motion capture on set on his hands and knees in like the ball suit is something else, and you should look it up.
it really is. It is great. It is great.
But they did a great job
In
with
all
like
of
that
the
part
ways.
of the movie. Overall though, more like desolation of my wallet for seeing that movie.
Christ.
And
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
this is a big one. This is a real big one. Look at that.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, what a beatdown. Deservedly so. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Deservedly so.
Also,
I'm gonna take a victory lap on that one.
That didn't really surprise me too much, given all the contention around it. Like, I felt like there were definitely some emotionally driven reviews that make up The Last Jedi.
What?
But I will say that I was
Star Wars
very
fans
surprised.
emotional?
Yeah, I was really surprised that Smog was as high as it was, to be perfectly honest, because I don't think that's a good movie. 8 out of 10 is like really good.
It should be like in the 6s or something.
Yeah, the disparity here really surprised me.
Yeah.
Okay, we are moving into our semi-finals.
Oh, what do you?
Battle of the Five Armies.
What do you mean
I don't
semifinals?
even remember that movie.
This is the last one.
Is it though?
Yeah, apparently not. If this is the semifinal,
It clearly says round 6 out of 7. So unless I made some kind of terrifying mistake that I'm just now realizing, or there's another round, I suppose we're gonna find out who has a job tomorrow, and it's not.
Let's hope it's the latter.
So,
this is
Battle
genuinely
of the
difficult.
Five Poo-Poos versus Rise of the Poo-Poo.
Rise of the Skywalker's so bad. Oh my god.
So awful.
You know what's also
both
funny?
Those movies are just god awful.
The
Both of them
opening, I haven't ever watched. I watched that movie in theaters, and I definitely didn't like it. And then I scrubbed through it on Blu-ray. I have that on Blu-ray because I had to. It's the sunk cost fallacy. Like, you have to get all of them. You can't just not have one of them.
I still haven't bought that one. I have all the other ones.
But I never like watched it since then. So like, I think that movie is like surprisingly old now. Isn't it like getting toward 3 or 4 years old?
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, that's getting up there in years, isn't it?
I thought it was pre-COVID.
It came out in like 2018, I think.
Yeah, so it's older than you think it is, I guess. But once again, I feel like they had these visuals in
2019.
mind. Yeah. I think they had visuals in mind that they like designed the story around, because like that shot right there is from like the very first scene, and it's like absolutely gorgeous to look at. And then the next moment after that is Kylo Ren just like mowing down people in a forest, and like once again it's like, this is beautiful stuff. Like, it's a shame that the actual story is not a match for this.
That's why that's why I can forget. It's like, like I agree about what you guys are saying about Last Jedi as far as the story goes, but it's still, I just like it, watching it. Like, I don't know, I think it like visually looks really cool. Like, I think all these movies are cool visually. All the Star Wars movies are, but I can't say the same about Lord of the Rings movies, because all the Hobbit movies have I don't know, they're ugly looking.
They're all brown and gray.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that shot right there. It's like the opening beautiful shot.
Bad.
It's just
Also bad.
they're also bad. They also made Ian McKellen cry.
They did.
They did. He had a breakdown.
He
on
was
set.
miserable.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah. Okay. So the production of the second and third one were like really rough, and a lot of stuff was falling apart behind the scenes, and that's why Peter Jackson had to take a more active role where he wasn't supposed to have been. And through all that chaos and issues, and they were doing like everything on green screens, at one point when the stress kind of hit its limit, Ian McKellen was like sitting down on the set, like in a booth or something, and he just kind of like yelled out like, "This is not why I act in movies."
Yeah,
like
it
full
was something to the effect of,
Gandalf
like, what the
thing
hell are we
on, I
doing
assume.
here?
Like, he's yelling that.
Yeah, like
sounds like a terrible time.
Yeah, he's sitting there in a full on green cube room.
Yeah.
Like everything in the room was just green cubes. He was sitting on a green cube at a green table, kind of thing, and he was like, "What the hell are we even doing here?" I think is what he says.
One of the reasons that acting's so bad.
Yeah. There was no like symbiotic relationship between any of the characters on screen, because almost none of them were on screen together, actually, or on camera together.
Yep.
Yeah, everything's disconnected.
Well, with that said, I'm going Rise of Poo Poo.
Rise of the Poo Poo.
What are you doing, Mike?
I don't know. This is a tough one.
I'm gonna do Battle of Five Armies.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Battle. I'm gonna say Battle of the Five Armies also.
Battle of the Five Poo-Poos. Okay. Battle of the Five Armies. More like. What day is it?
You can't even get a good reaction. It's so bad.
All right. So remind me again. Who said what?
Battle of Five Armies.
Hobbit.
Skywalker. Had.
I think
Hello?
Rise of Skywalker.
I'm
if they had
back.
Stuck.
Yeah, you're back.
Oh, there you go.
All right. So
I think if they had stuck to like the original idea for that ninth movie, even if it still maybe would have sucked, but it would have been better than them going into panic mode over the reception of Last Jedi, and then like kind of second guessing the direction they were going to take it in, and then kind of shoehorning the Emperor back into it and everything. I just think that's the stuff that like ruins it really. Like they should have just kept going forward, and people are either going to hate it or not. Like people hated it anyway, so it's like just do the original idea. And if you look at the concept art for that movie, it would have been actually kind of cool, I think, like visually and everything at least. But oh well.
Yeah, someone who didn't like Last Jedi at all and kind of felt, just let down by the direction that it was going in, the way that film went. I kind of felt like the Palpatine, because I watched the trailer and I remember hearing his laugh over and just thinking, that's not going to work. Nope. I want to see this movie less now because they did that and thought that would work. And I've had some passionate speeches about Star Wars over the last two rounds, but yeah, there was just something about that move that made it reeked of desperation, and it just made me want to not see the movie even. And I still haven't seen the movie.
Here's where I knew that it was gonna be like fantastically bad. Palpatine's whole thing is in the opening text crawl. It starts by saying the dead speak. And then it goes like, Palpatine's just back, and he sent out a message. Everyone's trying to get to where he is. And it's like, that should be like the plot of the movie, not like the giveaway of the opening text. Like, what the hell is wrong with you people?
They gave it away before that, because they had like a Fortnite thing where they announced it, and they had like the Emperor come on, and like it was like a live announcement on Fortnite.
Oh my god.
Well, and he was revealed in the trailer, the first trailer of the film.
That's fine. I'm not saying that he should be secret. I just hate like how they handled him appearing in the actual movie. Like, yeah, the trailer gives it away, sure, but like that doesn't really tell us like how they're gonna use him. Like, how's he gonna be worked in here? No, it's just the opening text. It's just like he's back, deal with it. They're gonna find him, and then he's on screen like a minute later. Like it's immediately.
It's not even entirely clear like what he is in that movie. Like, is he a clone of Emperor, or is he like the actual body of the Emperor that got tossed over the thing or whatever, and he's just regenerating? Because it kind of looks like it could be that too, because his fingers grow back and stuff once he starts getting like the force powers or whatever. So it's like it's just weird. Like, he looks cool, I think, but like he just it's like what like I don't know. It's just kind of confusing what he is exactly. If they were going to bring him back, they should have brought him back in the second movie, like when they killed Snoke or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, but it didn't seem like fleshed out enough.
They've also like gotta flex that Star Wars cliche where everything kind of boils down to we have to run in the place and blow up that one thing, and like the one thing in this one is that he just has like a planet's worth of Star Destroyers that are like hanging out on the planet. But here's once again, it's like, this is so stupid. He's got all these ships, and they're all like waiting to take off. They're all flying in the low orbit or whatever, and they're all just kind of lined up. And it's like, guys, if we blow up that one antenna on that one ship, then none of them can leave, because for some reason none of these ships have any kind of like their own local navigation systems. They're all like daisy chained off of this one ship, because that's smart.
Ship.
That movie also has like space horses riding on the outside of a ship.
That's the scene. They like ride horses to it on a ship during a battle. It's atrocious.
I'm gonna blow your minds. I'm gonna blow your minds right now.
Uh-oh.
All of this about the garbage that was Rise of Skywalker, and it's actually a better movie than Battle of Five Armies.
Oh, I agree completely. I agree wholeheartedly, dude.
Like, that's what's crazy. That's what's crazy to me. I'd rather watch Rise of Skywalker again than Battle of Five Armies. Battle of Five Armies is that bad.
Battle of the Five Armies could be used as like a means of a character's death in a Saw movie. Like, it's that bad.
Yeah.
Your next challenge, you have to watch Battle of the Five Armies.
No!
Oh, man.
I get the ratings for the Star Wars movies. I just don't get the ones for the Hobbit movies. They're like way too high.
I know. Once again, 7 out of 10 to me is like a good movie, and that's not a good movie. Oh my god, it's not a good movie.
You know what it is? You know what it is? There are so many people who grew up with The Hobbit as their first introduction into fantasy as a genre, and then how Tolkien and everything surrounding Tolkien became the mythos that fantasy is based off of, and then everybody stopped caring about details, and we only cared about shiny things during this era of movie production. That's why it got such high ratings. If it came out a few years later in the same time frame as Rise of Skywalker, it would have gotten reamed just as badly.
I will also say that the critic scores for all of these are more what you'd expect to see. For the Hobbit movies, the critic scores are way lower. If I was doing just critic scores, I think every one of these new Star Wars movies probably would have won, because they're higher too. It's kind of they're kind of inversed.
Yeah.
Like, fans love the Hobbit more than Star Wars, but the critics love Star Wars more than Hobbit. It's interesting.
As cringeworthy and hypercritical and self-unaware as Lord of the Rings fans tend to be, Star Wars fans are worse.
Are you ready for the bonus round?
Yeah.
So,
the one you just made up.
So, I did, the original Lord of the Rings versus original Star Wars, because it's the first trilogy versus the first trilogy. I thought that made sense.
Oh, no.
And then, shut up. And then,
oh, no.
I felt like it wasn't really fair to compare the Hobbit trilogy to the prequel movies.
No.
Because like those are different eras, and I felt like it was more sensible to line up Hobbit with the new trilogy. In my mind, I was like, they're both bad trilogies, so like this makes sense. But then, strangely, the Hobbit movies had these like really high user scores, and I was like, oh my god. So I wanted to kind of offset it with something kind of random. So my initial concept was it all had to be theatrical, which is what this is going to be. So for your final round, to determine who gets the highest score, I guess, what are we thinking about this one? The 1977 animated Lord of the Rings versus the Star Wars Clone Wars animated movie, which was theatrically released and also acted as like the beginning to the Clone Wars TV show, which was like very well loved by fans. That movie is like really not good. And the animated Lord of the Rings kind of similarly so. Like, they're both not good for different reasons. What are we thinking here, gang?
I've never seen either one of these.
Same.
But I'm gonna go with Star Wars.
Oh,
I have seen the animated Lord of the Rings, and I loved it. I absolutely love it.
I think it's
my
fun.
My gut was Lord of the Rings.
Your gut's
I'm
Lord of
gonna
the
go
Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Now, if I get this right and they both get it wrong, can I win?
Wait,
Because otherwise, there's
you
no
and
point
I,
in me
you and
even
I
answering.
you and I both guessed Lord of the Rings, Tori. So if you win, I still win.
God.
But if Mike
playing
wins,
defense.
we both lose.
Playing defense there.
Okay,
I
so
respect the strategy.
Listen,
I
I'm
respect
not that
the strategy.
smart. I'm not that smart.
as we move into these final scoring situations, Tori's streak was broken with his choice of Rise of Skywalker, whereas Mike and Chris both have streaks here to get 2 points from, meaning the total final outcome could be 8 for Tori and then 11 for Chris and Mike. Given the votes are now in, Chris is saying Lord of the Rings, Mike is saying Star Wars, Tori is saying Lord of the Rings. Let's see what we get. First one on the board.
Yes! 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 I don't know that I've ever won anything.
It's so sad.
I don't want to think about that.
Special prize.
It was really close.
Wow.
It was really close.
Wow, they're so bad. They're both so bad.
Really close.
Oh no.
Oh man! So the Clone Wars movie is the one that actually introduces Ahsoka for the first time, and she and Anakin have to save Jabba the Hutt's like nephew's son or something who's like sick, and they're carrying that thing around, and there's like a couple new Sith villains.
That thing?
It's a whole
That thing.
yeah, there we go. And the animated Lord of the Rings famously used rotoscoping animation, so some of the shots look like this moment right here, and then a lot of them
Yeah.
just look like just actual actors on set that are being like scrubbed over with static chaos.
It's such a weird visual thing that movie does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good movie though. I like it. It gets through. The funny thing is the pacing, because that in one movie's runtime gets all the way to the end of Two Towers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so there's like parts of it that feel like well paced, and then parts of it that just bum rush certain things, and then it ends at that point. But all the hallmarks.
Well, I mean,
are
let's
there.
be real. You can kind of ditch Sam and Frodo entirely.
Except that they
Hey,
don't,
'cause
and
it's
they
just-
still manage to do that.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
Yeah, they still like you still get like Pippin and Merry meet Treebeard. Like that still happens. Like they still just get all that in there somehow.
That's amazing.
It's bizarre. Like it's really bizarre, but it's fun. I did some stuff about that in the channel's earlier days. I did like there's a Lord of the Rings game that takes its character art from that movie. When
wow.
When you pause the pause menu thing, it's those characters, which is pretty cool. And they all died in my playthrough. It's permadeath in that game, and
Oh wow.
we lost more than Gandalf in the Mines of Moria. I'll just say that.
Oh
much.
wow. Yikes.
Cool. So there's our final outcome. Congratulations to Chris taking it home. 11 out of a possible, what did I say? It's like 14? 11 out of 14? Pretty good.
Yeah.
Great job. I decided, though, that I think Mike had the most compelling argument for something I'm forgetting about now. So Mike actually wins. I'm going to give him all the
That's
points.
fair. That's fair.
What
Look
was
at
it?
that. You got bonus
He
points
doesn't
for
remember.
not having seen the Clone Wars.
Does that mean that I get bonus points
Wait,
for not having
yeah, I
seen
don't-
Rise of Skywalker?
Look, I don't
Come
make
on,
the
like,
rules.
that
I haven't
definitely
seen.
deserves-
I haven't seen the Clone Wars
You know,
or the
11
Lord of the
points.
Rings movie.
Oh, you're right. Okay. In that case, yeah, that's good. That's a good point. So that's a good point. In that case,
Oh no. Oh no.
I was about to say 11 points that's what it's worth for sure.
This was fair.
Oh, what the heck?
and
Yep, I knew it
All
was gonna
better.
happen.
all better.
Congratulations, Mike.
I'm okay with it.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations to our champion. Me! I actually won.
It's the tie.
Oh, it's definitely the tie.
This
Yeah,
game's rigged.
it's not. Shut your mouth, you winner. Good times had here, folks. Thanks for playing. The winner, Chris, of course, as per is the rules of the game, gets $50 from each of the 2 contestants. They have until
I'll be right back.
they have until 6 p.m. tomorrow to deliver that cash, or Kylo Ren will hit them with a small truck.
I think he could do it too.
He could do it. Didn't even require the Force. He just drives the truck.
Oh. Wait, Adam Driver does a skit like that.
That dude is super talented.
He
is. He gets a lot of hate.
Super talented.
He gets a lot of hate for like
Marriage
his
Story
face and stuff, but like I think he's.
When I found out he was in the military, I was like, this dude can do everything. Like, what the heck?
He can do everything except for be a compelling villain in Star Wars.
And bad writing will do that.
Oh
no, he's animated now.
God, what the hell?
I hate this.
That's
I don't
amazing.
feel like a winner anymore. I don't like this at all.
That was great.
I definitely enjoyed our first
inside.
podcast where that was like his screen.
God,
it was just that face.
Yes.
All right,
Now,
we will.
Next episode, he's gonna have sourced a VTuber, like programmer, and integrated that, and that's gonna be his overlay.
Yeah,
Oh
like
my
real time.
god.
That would be amazing.
Replacement.
Oh my god. That would be kind of horrifying and awesome at the same time.
No,
who knows?
you could have stopped at horrifying. You could have stopped there
That's true. I could have.
and been
Look,
absolutely
he's happy.
accurate.
He's a happy
No.
dog. He's not hurting
Listen,
anybody.
he's hurting me. He's
just
hurting
happy.
me through
He's
the
happy that he
screen.
won the race.
Through the screen, through the internet. He's hurting me.
I did
Look,
the
he went
math
from
on.
selling vacuum cleaners to racing cars, and he won. So he's just happy.
What?
I forgot. He's
When
the
was he
vacuum.
selling
That
vacuums?
picture originated from.
Oh, that's
like
right.
the
Yeah.
dog on the Bissell,
That's right, I
on the Bissell
forgot.
vacuum cleaner.
Incredible.
I wrote it down somewhere. I forgot where it is though. It's not on my actual little score sheet for some reason. But I did math out what the averages were for all these. It's lost now, but as you can recall, as we moved through it, when I realized that Lord of the Rings was the higher in every single one of these, except for literally one, I was like, I gotta find a way to like artificially give them some bias, which is why I had you answer which one you thought was correct from the offset. That way, in your mind, I was kind of hoping it'd be like, is this the 1 or 2 that it's gonna be higher?
That was smart.
Not sure if it really
Actually,
worked or not.
didn't even think about that, to be honest.
See, it didn't work.
No,
Yeah,
I was at the other side of the meta conversation. I was like, I was thinking about the time period in which they came out and what people were saying, and then versus what like movie reviews, even on like a user scale.
Also, I forgot to say this. Not that it would have really influenced much, but for the animated Lord of the Rings specifically, there were no user scores for, I think it was like Metacritic. One of the 3 I was using didn't have any user scores, and I had to use the critic scores, which were pretty much where I thought the user scores were going to be anyway, so it didn't really affect anything. No. But one of them was like
Rigged.
I can tell you too that on average, IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes was like the most forgiving out of all of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Rotten Tomatoes is the most forgiving. IMDb was the harshest.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Do you think it's just Rotten Tomatoes is kind of the like ubiquitous movie review site? Like the user review site, whereas IMDb is more known as like a critic site?
Probably, because you see that a lot.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, because like thinking back to like when Godzilla -1 came out, it was like being thrown around that its Rotten Tomatoes score was like 100% for like weeks straight, and in my mind, I'm like, it's not that good. Like, it's good, but I wouldn't say it's literally flawless.
Right, it's still a Godzilla movie. Like,
well,
Yeah, but I would think for like an average, from like a general audience standpoint of people who might not be into Godzilla, like I think it could be enjoyed by people who like might not like that. You know, it's like if you look at Godzilla X Kong, it's like a big, goofy action movie.
Right.
Which, I mean, I guess has broad appeal too, but like -1 seems more like a serious movie or whatever, and it just happens to have Godzilla in it, and it's done in a way similar to something like Jaws or whatever, where he's like an actual like movie monster, and it's not.
Yeah.
He doesn't have like a personality and stuff. Like he's just like he's like a monster, and I think that's like.
It's like it just harkens back to the old school Monster of the Week style storytelling.
Yeah, and it has like a pretty compelling story in general, just among like the human characters. So
my wife loved -1, and she's not really into foreign films like at all. And
I want to grab the like a 4K or something because it's out now, right?
Yeah, it's been out.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I need to grab that.
We saw it in 40X, and it made me kind of sick. And someone's grandma fell in there at some point previously. See our podcast on it. It was a good time.
Oh no!
We're gonna wrap it up because I'm gonna die of a heat stroke if I keep this thing on any longer. It's affecting me. So
I didn't realize we were still going.
Yeah, I haven't got a conclusion. I didn't do the closer yet. So, ba-bam. That was episode 2 of Retro Boost Arena. I think it went a lot better than the first one did from a technical standpoint. Obviously, I knew what the scores were the whole time. We're already improving. So, we will do this again. I have to think of the topic for next time. These are the 2 ideas I wanted to test. We've now tested. It was a good time, and I thank you all for coming to compete. Remember to give Chris your $50.
Yeah, or my Cash App will be in the description.
I might send it to the wrong number.
That's rude. You could Apple Pay me, dog. I texted you earlier today.
No, I don't have it saved. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't
okay.